even with 6 property shows I've done on Channel 4, and I will still have trolls tweet me, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about. This isn't even really what you do. You're just being hired because of your big boobs or something stupid like that. You constantly try and break that mold and try and work hard and try and show that actually you know what you're doing. And I think being a black woman in this industry, you have to be so thick-skinned. It was our first ever renovation that my brother and I did together. And it turns out that our builder had moved into the flat. That was a lesson that we learned. Do not call up your builder and tell them you're coming, just turn up. And don't give them the keys. They will just move in.
So, the big question, 100K in the bank. How are you investing that? Are you going to Dubai and buying a property there? Are you flipping it in Bournemouth? What are you doing with that 100K?
Oh, that is a good question. I mean,
guys, we are so excited. We have got none other than Scarlette Douglas on our podcast. Woo-hoo! So my name's Ash and this is?
I'm Raj, and I gotta echo Ash. So thrilled to have you here because we talk about property all day and I go home and watch TV and shows about property and I've seen you on TV, so I cannot believe we're sitting here with you now. That's insane.
And some of the shows you've done, honestly, are my favorite.
You're not just saying that because I'm sat here.
No,
Okay,
no,
okay.
I genuinely, this is why I'm in the property industry, because I love it. So to have you here, first of all, I think we should start off from just some introductions. That would be nice. So we have something in common, actually.
Do we? Are we both Arsenal fans?
No, we're not.
No? Okay. Uh-oh.
I'll hide away.
Raj is an Arsenal fan.
Well, he's wearing blue, which makes me think maybe...
I'm Spurs. You're gonna walk out now. I
Yeah,
think that's
that's
the
it.
end of
Done.
Thanks, guys. That's the end of the interview.
No, that's not what we have in common. But I also have a background in doing drama as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know
bet you didn't
this.
expect that.
No, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that at all.
So I did a degree
Okay.
in Coventry called Theatre and Professional Practice, basically a fancy name for drama. And when I was telling my wife this when we were just dating, actually, she asked me, she's a boffin. She did economics degree and super smart. And she asked me, on our first date, what did you do at uni? I was like, yeah, I did drama. She was like, okay, but what about for the degree?
That was it.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of people don't have that background. So I just wanted to touch on that. So growing up, you were always into just were you the loud one in the house, or how did that come about?
So let me go back. So first of all, for those of you that maybe don't know me, I am a TV presenter. I do a lot of property shows, mainly on Channel 4, but also entertainment. I cover Richard Arnold on Good Morning Britain, which is great because I love anything entertainment. I got to do I'm a Celebrity to Get Me Out of Here a few years, which was amazing, actually. That was, 3 years ago this year? Yeah. But I started off doing musical theatre, and I've got 2 older brothers that we'll definitely get to throughout the podcast. But they both played football, and I was a big tomboy when I was younger. I just wanted to follow them, play football as well. But I also just loved to show off. And because it was always them getting the attention, I had to somehow do something that was going to get the eyes on me, you know? So I'd be in the living room doing a catwalk, or I'd be singing really loud, or I'd be doing some sort of dance routine just to try and impress my mum and dad. And my brother's like, look at me, I can do really cool things too. And I think my mum kind of saw something in me there, and she's like, of course you can keep playing football. And I played field hockey as well, which I loved. But she's like, if you love performing, you should maybe focus on dancing. And she saw from a very young age, at 3, that I would follow around my god sister. My babysitter was my godmother, and she would always take the kids dancing. So I used to just start going to dance classes, and I loved it. And I absolutely thrived from just being on stage and performing and jazz hands and all that sort of stuff. So when I finished school, in fact, before I did my GCSEs, I remember my mum and dad said, do you want to look at maybe going to Sylvia Young or Italia Conte? You can do your GCSEs there whilst studying. Are they still called GCSEs? I don't even know what they're called anymore.
I think they are, but they've just got a different way of grading.
They don't get A's and B's anymore.
It's like 1s, 2s and 8s, 9s are A's and B's, right? So people will know GCSEs. So I decided actually, no, I was going to stay at school, finish my GCSEs at school, and then I'd go to Performing Arts College. So I studied at the top Performing Arts College for 3 years, from the age of 16 to 19. And it was really hard. It was really hard because I was always told I was never going to amount to anything. Not in the sense
Who
of...
told you this, at college?
These were my dance teachers.
Okay.
So I was very good academically. So people always said I'd be very good academically. I loved maths. I was very good at maths and IT. So my dad wanted me to go into computing and all this sort of stuff. But I just loved dancing and performing. And because I didn't look like others around me. You know, I was one of the only black girls at my school and dance school, so I was a lot more curvaceous and my butt sticked out a little bit more as opposed to the ballerinas that were very thin and straight. My teachers never thought I was going to be successful. And I think that can either make you or break you when you're a child. And I've always seen how hard my mum and dad have worked and how hard my brothers have worked. So I was like, no, I'm going to show you that I can do it. So I remember being at college and the main founder of the college and the principal, she was always like, no, darling, you're not going to do this. This isn't for you. This isn't for you. And I was like, I'm going to show you. So at graduation, I remember I left college with 3 jobs. And everyone else, some people had 1 job, some people had nothing, and I left with 3 jobs. And I was like, I don't know, I don't want to swear on this podcast, but I was like, I can do it. And then I just worked my butt off ever since. I did musicals for 8 years, and I got to be in the West End. I've got to perform all over the world.
What plays were you in the West End?
Oh, I did Hairspray, the musical, which is amazing.
Wow.
I did We Will Rock You, the Queen musical.
That's
Ages.
big.
It must have been so much fun.
Oh, I got to perform at the National Theatre and do a show there. And it was just, I think it meant so much more to me because everyone told me that I couldn't do it. And I've always set myself goals. And I've always been like, my biggest, I guess, way of getting revenge is by being successful. And those people that told me I couldn't do it are going to have to watch me and they're going to have to sit there and be like, oh, I need to eat humble pie. So I've always had that instilled in me that I've got to work hard. And thankfully, musical theatre, drama is very difficult, it's very hard, but if you can get through that, I feel like you can get through anything. You're really thick-skinned doing that field of work.
So hold on, you spent almost 8 years, so almost a decade in musical theatre, and then how did you end up in property? What I mean, what's the synergy there? How do you?
I know, because it's 2 complete different worlds, right?
How?
So it was actually my eldest brother Stuart that I do my property shows with now. He was a professional footballer. Both my brothers were. He was a professional footballer, and he basically he'd done property kind of by accident. He'd done well in property by accident. And I say that because whatever football club he was at, he would buy a property near that club, do it up for his liking, and then when he moved to another club, he would sell it or he would keep it and make money and see what profit he had in it. So he was doing that for quite a while. I think since he was 21, he was doing one. His first place was in St Albans, beautiful converted hat factory in a mews, really private, 3 floors, stunning, did it up and made a lot of money on it kind of by accident. So he kept doing that. And then when I was 24, he came to me and he said, you know, what are you going to do when you can't sing and dance anymore? And obviously at 24, I'm like, I can jazz hands forever. What are you talking about? It's like, at some point you're going to get arthritis and they're not going to look like jazz hands. They're going to look a little bit more like this, more like claws. So I was like, right, that's a good point. He said, well, why don't you kind of join forces with me? I'll take you under my wing and I will teach you how to do property development.
That's so cool.
Right, I was like, okay, cool. Let me give it a go. He also asked my other brother. My other brother was like, there is no way I'm working with you. And I kind of wish I went with that brother. But no, it's been a learning curve and it's been a great experience, to be fair. And then, we started doing property development together. And I guess I used my expertise of being on stage and being around sets and being able to turn just an empty stage into a huge, I guess, dream world. When you do musical theatre, you can completely change scenes or change sets to be different scenes. Just seeing that and learning how all that worked made me think, well, I guess my expertise in this would be the interior design side of things and bringing a house into a home and really making it emotive. I think that's what interior is all about, is walking into a space and feeling something.
That's so true, because when you're, we learned this in my drama degree, but when you're trying to create an emotion, you've got to think about what colour the walls are, what colour the sofa is, and so the lighting and everything.
Yes. Oh, lighting is so important. Yeah.
So do you use that when you're refurbishing properties as well?
Absolutely. I think what people forget is when it comes to interiors, if anybody is looking to get into interiors, lighting is one of the most important things because it really can create a mood. It really can create an emotion. And then off the back of lighting, you'll go with your colours. And also depending on where the light is will depend on how that colour looks and how vibrant it is or how dull it is, the shade and the light. And these things are so important when it comes to dressing, staging, or just doing the interiors of a property. So it just naturally made sense for me to take my musical theatre love and passion and the love of sets and stage into the home. So it took a while for me and Stuart to find our balance working together. And people always say, what's it like working with your brother? Like, it must be a nightmare. But actually, we know how to do it well now because Stuart knows his strengths, he knows his weaknesses, and vice versa. And then we make sure that we collaborate well. And there have been many times that I'm wanting to go like hard with the interiors and like, let's just paint everything red or pink, my favorite color. But again, you learn along the way that you're not doing property for yourself, you're doing it for others, you're doing it for selling, because we flip our property. So once you start to learn that and learn kind of what the mass is like, that's when you know how to change an interior.
So how common is it for people to go on this journey from a background similar to yourself? Because you said something really interesting there. Your brother came to you and said, let me take you under your wing. So you had someone there that almost like a role model or a mentor. How common would you say that is in, I'm just going to not to be controversial, but in people of color, so Black, Asian backgrounds? How common is it that you would be encouraged to do this? Because it's hard to find role models, because as Asians, we're always encouraged to become doctors, lawyers, accountants. We're never encouraged to be property developers as such. So tell us about that. And
yeah, that is such a great question. And I think what's important is we have to look at our circle around us. And that's why what Stuart and I do on television is so important, because people can then see people that look like them and be like, oh, actually, maybe that's not that far out of reach for me. And maybe that is something I can do. Because in the Black community, you're told that you're going to be either a really good sports person or a musician. And it's like, well, no, there is more to me than trying to be the next Usain Bolt or the next big footballer or the next, I don't know, Usher or whatever. There are so many other options for us. And I think it's important that people look around them and I guess look for their role models, but just know that they can do whatever they want. And I think as much as we do have our peers that say to us, be a doctor, be an accountant, be a lawyer, whatever it is, or be a sports person, if it's not what you are passionate about, it's fine to find that thing that you love. And it doesn't matter what colour your mentor is. What matters is you're following your dream. Stuart's mentor in property was one of the chairmen of Luton Town Football Club, which is where he played. And he was white. He was the one that did property. And Stuart just went to him because of his knowledge. Regardless of his skin colour, he wanted to know how to do property. And I think just knowing what you want to do is the most important thing. And if me and Stuart can be the role models for people that look like us to think, well, actually, I do want to do it, and now I can see that it's available to me, and that's the important thing for us.
No, I think that's so awesome. It's really cool. And for people who do look up to you, because obviously they see you on TV, they see you doing this amazing stuff with property, including the interiors, of course. What advice would you have for them? How best to get involved? Where do you start? What do you avoid?
Oh, I would say avoid just going at it by yourself, because ultimately we don't all know everything. We like to think we know everything, but we don't. So speak to people that have done it before, that have made the mistakes, so that you don't have to make them, because mistakes, especially in property, can be very costly. You don't want to do that. So start looking at courses, start looking online. There are some great companies out there that do free courses. And then if you like bits that you see, you can then pay to be on a longer course. Just find what your niche might be in property, because there are so many different multiple streams of income and different strategies when it comes to property. We found our niche, and that's flipping. My brother doesn't like to hold on to anything. I've got a couple that I hold on to. I've got tenants in, but he wants to just get in, make it look good, get out, done, wash his hands of it, is finished. But there are lots of other ways. There are like no money down schemes. I think a lot of people think because they don't have the money, they can't then get involved in property. But actually, you potentially can. No money down schemes mean you can either lend money, borrow money, whether it's a bridging loan, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's finding a JV partner, someone that will do a joint venture with you, where they might be cash rich and time poor, but you are time rich and cash poor. You can work together and you can make a product work. So I think it's just finding what could work for you. Is it rent to rent? Is it BRRRR? Is it, what other options are there that you think you can actually make quite a bit of money from?
Right, it's amazing, because this is like our language. This is what we talk to clients about.
I feel like I was saying all those, and I should probably break them down,
but
right?
I understand everything. It's crazy. So I love it. And I mean, in terms of your experiences when you're buying and selling, I'm not sure, and you don't have to share, but you know, a lot of people won't have the cash to buy. So have you used finance before? What's that experience been like? Did you start there and then end up not needing it anymore? Or I guess because we really pride ourselves on good customer service, giving value, helping our clients. Even if it ends up going nowhere, at least we give them information so they can make informed decisions whether something's right for them or not. So what's your experience been like in the industry, not only on the building side, but on the finance side?
So I'd say for finance, for us, especially when we first started, Stuart and I, we just used our own money, which a lot of property investors were like, don't use your own money. But we did. We were starting off and we were still novices, right? Even though Stuart had been doing it for longer than me, we felt more comfortable using our own money because we didn't want to potentially risk losing other people's money, or, I don't know, having to spend a whole load out on interest rates if we were to get a bridging loan, for example. but we know exactly what we're doing now. So now we've got a business partner who will put up more of the cash. And again, my brother is time rich when we're not filming, or if he's not doing developments, he's got the time to do things. When I'm not traveling around, I'm here, I've got the time to do things. So we are doing a joint venture partnership between the three of us. Now, of course, there are some great options, and there's a property that my brother's doing at the moment that he is getting a bridging loan in for, and that's for the development. So it's like a development bridging loan. So he has made sure that he knows how much he has to pay back, what the interest is, what the time is that we need to pay it back by, and he's then worked out the best option for him. So there are, like you said, great things out there, and people need to understand that these options are out there for them. Don't close your eyes or close your mind to property because you don't think you've got it. There are ways of funding this, and there are ways of funding it to then bring it back so you are starting to make a lot of money. And I think that's the important thing. What is your end goal? You want to make money. That's what we all want to do in this world. Sometimes you might have to borrow something here, there, or whatever to make sure that you are being able to do that.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add as well that we get, a lot of our clients, they might be brand new in the property world as well, and they're buying something at auction, and they've tried to buy using a traditional mortgage, and then come to us 2 weeks later and saying, God, I got 2 weeks to complete. I now need a bridge. I wasn't advised properly with the type of finance that I need. And then we're able to work in tight time frames, which is very stressful sometimes, but
Yeah,
very
I can
fun too.
imagine, yeah.
It's fun because I think similar to you, you're all about the people,
Yeah.
and so are we. We're dealing with people on a daily basis, and when we have that first phone call with them and they're super stressed out and they don't know where to go, seeing that journey through to the end of them actually having the keys to their property and getting ready to flip that property or whatever they're going to do with it is so rewarding. Does that drive you in the property world? Because
Oh, yeah. 100%. I think, like you said, it's your expertise. It's what you know. It's what you do. So when people come to you in their panic, they don't know what to do. You can just take that weight off them, and you can be like, "It's fine. This is what I do on a day to day. Let's look through your situation and let's make it work for you." And then, like you said, when they get the keys and they're in there, they have that moment of relief and happiness, and you know that you've been a part of that, and it's such a great feeling. And it's the same with my brother and I. Like when we're doing our own properties, it's stressful. You're going through renovation at the moment. You know it's so stressful.
Don't remind me.
Right? But then once it's done, and then once you put it on the market and it's sold, and someone's
Yeah.
like, "Thank you so much, I love this house," it makes everything worthwhile. So I think when it comes to people trying to kind of decide what is best for them, as long as you do your research, that's the most important thing. If you're in a situation where you've gone to an auction, for example, there are lots of property shows on TV, and we'll talk about Homes Under the Hammer. It makes it look easy because, if we're honest, an episode is an hour long and you're not getting the trials and tribulations. Sometimes you go back and nothing's been done. Sometimes you go back and it's completely finished. You see the numbers, blah, blah, blah. Have they made money? Have they not made money? Whether it's a rental, whether it's a sale, whether it's how much you have to spend out on all the extra fees that you don't think about. But ultimately, if you've done your research, you would like to hope that you're not going to be in that situation. But auctions are difficult because you can get emotionally connected to a house and you're like, I want to buy it, I want to buy it. And before you know it, you're
Yeah.
way over what you said you were supposed to spend. And then people are coming to you panicking like, okay, actually, I can't get a mortgage on it, or there's not enough time. Can you help me with a bridging loan? And then obviously that's when you come in with your expertise. So I think ultimately, again, people need to just be aware of what's around them when it comes to being a sponge and taking, learning, and asking people that have done it before so they don't make the same mistakes again.
And talking about learnings, I mean, no better person to ask, like from your history of refurbishments, and from probably what you've seen around you from the people that you know, what would you say is maybe one highlight of something that went terribly wrong and you've remembered in your head to never do that?
I know so well. I know so well. It was our first ever renovation that my brother and I did together. And it was a Victorian house that had been converted into 2 flats. I'd bought the downstairs one, and because it was so big, we were like, we can reconfigure this into a 2-bedroom. Perfect. So the first set of builders that we had in, we had done some research, but maybe not enough. They were terrible. They weren't delivering. They were taking too long with things. They were taking too much money. All these things that we have learnt on that job. Anyway, we got them out. We got another builder in. And it was just him on his own, but there wasn't a huge amount left to do. So we thought it's going to be doable and it shouldn't take that long. And Stuart would call up, say, right, I'm coming around today just to see what you've done. So we'd go around to the builders, like, oh yeah, put this in, I put that in. Okay, fine. But then it'd be a few weeks later and certain things that should have been done still haven't been done. So then I'd go around, I'd call him, say, hey, I'm going around, go around. Oh yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Anyway, one day my brother had gone to the flat He's like, he's going to just turn up and not call him this time. Because maybe when we're calling him, it's giving him a good heads up that he can be in there and pretend he's doing stuff. So Stuart goes in, the builder wasn't there, but there were lots of scratches on this brand new stainless steel cooker that we had. And Stuart called me, he's like, why have you used like wireless wool, steel wool to clean the cooker? I was like, I haven't, I've not even used it. Well, it looks like it's used. So you must, I was like, I know if I've used a cooker, I haven't used a cooker. He's like, I wonder if it's the builder. Anyway, the builder comes back and, oh no, sorry, Stuart leaves and then Stuart comes back another time, like early in the morning. And it turns out that our builder had moved into the flat. So he had a blow up bed in the bedroom with the sheets. He's staying there with his girlfriend. He's been using the cooker and everything. But every time Stuart had been calling, he'd obviously been packing everything away. So we didn't know. So whenever we've gone in, he's had enough of a heads up to make sure it looks like he's not living there. So Stuart was raging, kicked him out, obviously. I actually finished most of the little bits myself because it was just a snag list, which I could do. And that's where I really learned my craft of DIY. But that was a lesson that we learned. Do not call up your builder and tell them you're coming. Just turn up.
Just turn up.
Just turn up.
Okay, I
Just
love
turn up.
that.
And don't give them the keys to the property because they will just move in.
Yeah, I
So,
feel like
yeah.
we should get a T-shirt that says "Just turn up" on it.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Just turn up.
Yeah, I mean, for everything, just turn up.
Right?
Do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Motivational. Why not?
Motivational. There you
But
go.
I mean, in terms of what you just said there, it ties into what you said earlier about having a team, having good people around you, work with people, know your strengths. Because you mentioned I'm doing a renovation, but that's doing the renovations, not my strengths. It's the numbers side that's my strengths, the finance behind it. So I know what I'm good at. But I think through that story, what it really highlights is, just turn up. Don't tell your builder you're coming.
Yeah.
But also, it's so important the people you work with. And I always say, read reviews. So for anything I buy, any service I'm going to use, I've really started reading reviews because we work so hard to get ours and it's so hard to maintain. And thankfully we got 100% 5-star, but
Amazing.
we work hard at it. And not everyone has, for example, a Gmail account to leave a review who think you've done an amazing job.
Right.
So I always now just read reviews of everyone. Do you use that same kind of structure when you're hiring people, or do you have word of mouth? Do you just have a good network? How do you find is best to recruit people when you're doing a renovation now?
That's a great question. Now we've got our team, so we know who we use, whether
Okay.
it's Stuart lives in Bournemouth, we do a lot of developments down there, and I'm up in Hertfordshire, so I do stuff. So we know who we use in those places.
Okay.
But we always say, get 3 quotes from 3 different builders. The cheapest one isn't always the one that you should go with. And the person that can start straight away probably isn't going to be the best builder because normally the best builders are busy because they're getting booked up and people want them. But I always say, just walk down the street. There's always construction somewhere near someone's house. Have a little look. Just not, hi, would you mind if I had a little look? Because I'm looking at potentially doing my place. Can I get a builder? Or can I have a look at your builder? Because I'm looking to get one. Anything like that, that's going to make sure you're not going to make a mistake is so important. And if you put the work in at the beginning, there's going to be less work for you to do throughout it and afterwards. And again, you want to mitigate risk. So asking neighbours that have just had a renovation done, going on, there are apps like Nextdoor where you can go on and you can see people are commenting on renovations, or I've got this handyman that I use and he was really good. And these are just honest reviews. Of course, you can go online and go to other places that you can get reviews as well, but you want to make sure that they're real reviews. I always like to go to someone in person. Again, you could always overlook certain things. There was a builder that there was my neighbour, there was a builder working on her house. She lives right across the road from me. And I needed to get my place done. And he was finishing off and I'm like, look, I've got a job for you. And I went and I looked at her work and I checked him out and he was really good. Cool guy, he was Jamaican. So I'm like, yes, bro, this is great. And cool. And then he started my house. I want to say it was maybe like the August. And then it shouldn't have taken that long. It was a full renovation, but it really shouldn't have taken that long. And then at Christmas time, my mum decided she wanted to get her bathroom and toilet redone. So he kind of paused on my house, went and did mum and dad's house, came back to mine. But things were just taking really long. Then we were getting close to Christmas. And he's like, look, I'm just going to Jamaica for Christmas. I'll be back in the new year. Got to look at some things in the house that I'm building there, but then I'll be back like mid-January. I'm like, okay, it's not the best, but fine. This was December 2021. He didn't come back to the UK until December 2023.
Whoa.
So
Oh
my
my God.
house was not finished. Now, obviously, in that time,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not okay. So I'll be calling him, yeah, I'm coming back. You've left my kitchen undone. And I'm also filming A Place in the Sun. I had another show called My Dream Derelict Home in the Sun. So it's hard for me to get back and project manage. And even though mum and dad live around the corner, it's not their responsibility. They're doing what they can, to the point that his cousin came and fitted the kitchen. So at least the kitchen was in during that time. But then, like, my house still actually isn't finished because the snag list never got done. So you would come in and never know. It looks like it's done, but I can see so many bits that aren't finished. And that was me being due diligent. That was me that's actually been doing this for 14 years. Things can still happen like that. So I think it's important that people, yes, do their research, but also don't beat yourself up if something doesn't quite go to plan, because something can always just flip when you're doing properties. Another very important thing to remember is take your builder's passport, because that way they can't go to Jamaica for 2 years and not come back. They have to finish a property. They cannot leave the country. So biggest tip.
Probably the best thing to do in that situation.
Exactly.
But talking about sort of difficulties and struggles in the property world, just wanted to unpack a bit more about your personal struggles that you've had. You know, like, we're all part of an ethnic background and we've all had different struggles, but it would just be nice for you to share, and maybe someone else can feel inspired by the difficulties you've had in the property world.
Yeah, I think, look, if we're honest, as we said from the very beginning, people see us doing something in their mind that's probably stereotypical. Being a musician, being a runner or a footballer, being a sports person, being, like you said, an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever. So it is trying to break that mold, but also they're not just being black, but being a black female and a young black female in this industry is very hard. It's very hard because people don't take you seriously. They don't think you know what you're talking about. And even with my property shows, we've had, I don't even know how many shows. I've done A Place in the Sun, My Dream Derelict Home in the Sun, Flipping Fast, Love It or List It, Worst House on the Street, Can't Sell Must Sell. 6 property shows I've done on Channel 4. And I will still have trolls tweet me. Do you still call it tweet if it's on X?
Yeah, we can call it sweet.
Whatever. They tweet, you know what I'm talking about. They tweet or they X me, whatever. And they're always like, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about. This isn't even really what you do. You're just being hired because of your big boobs or something stupid like that. And it's like, it's frustrating because I shouldn't even be reading the tweets because whatever, why are you trolling me? At the same time, it's quite nice to get trolled because I think if you get trolled, it means you're doing something right. So I feel like I'm in the percentage of people that someone is taking the time to take their phone out and tweet about. It's like, if you don't like me that much, why are you then taking time out of your day to not even watch my shows, but then also tweet me? So thank you, I appreciate it. But it's just like you constantly try and break that mold and try and work hard and try and show that actually you know what you're doing. And there's always someone that has something negative to say about it. And I think being a black woman in this industry, you have to be so thick-skinned. Being a woman in this industry, being a black woman in this industry, because people will constantly tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. To the point that I actually made sure I got my interior design diploma, because you don't have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? You haven't got to get a qualification to be an interior designer. You can be an interior decorator. You don't have to get a qualification to do it. If you are very good at your job, you're very good at your job, regardless. That's it, fine. But I got it so that if anybody ever said to me, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about, I'm like, here it is, framed on my wall, my interior design diploma by the British College of Interior Design. So people know this is what I do, guys. I'm not just out here being on television just for the sake of being on television. Channel 4 didn't just hire me just to be like, oh, we'll put her on because she looks cute. No, like, I know what I'm doing. And there were many times, even when I was doing my house, I remember my kitchen that was getting done and I had this worktop put in and it was done so terribly. And I told them to come back and take out of my kitchen. And the guy was like, oh, but this is how it works. And, you know, there's always going to be a join if you get a piece of granite that's this long or this. I said, listen, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for this amount of time. Yeah. This is the length that you can get granite in all over the world. This is how long it can be. There is no reason for there to be a join in here. Take it out of my kitchen. And I think when they started to see that I knew what I was talking about, not only was the guy that had fit the worktop very surprised, even my builder and my electrician were like, oh, she really knows what she's talking about. So sometimes you just got to drop a few little nuggets. Like, I'm not just a pretty face, guys. You might not even think I'm pretty, but I do. My mum tells me I'm pretty all the time. Not just a pretty face. I actually do have the brains to go with it. And I make sure I hone my craft and I know what I'm talking about because it's important.
So on that, we mentioned trolls, but what about in your actual community, people around you?
Yeah.
What is that like? Because I imagine coming from a musical background, then going into property, number one, I can imagine people saying, oh, she's just, oh, her brother's doing it. She's probably just like, jumping on the bandwagon maybe.
Yeah.
Did you get some of that
Do
or?
you know what? It's actually been amazing in my community. It has been incredible, actually. And I was at an event over the weekend at Rumfest, and there are so many people of colour that go to that, and they always stop me and say, thank you so much, because you have inspired us, you've inspired our kids, you've inspired family, friends, whatever. And they are so proud of us that we are doing what we're doing, and we are showing them that there are other ways of being black on television. We don't fit the stereotype that sometimes we're sold to be like. And I think it's so lovely to hear those comments from your community, because it's very hard. This industry is really hard. And sometimes when you might see other people doing so well that don't look like you, it makes you feel a little bit despondent. It makes you feel like, what's the point of me doing it? But then just hearing all those great comments picks you up again and encourages you to keep going, because we're not doing this for me and Stuart. I mean, we are obviously, but we're doing it for our community, and we want to show everybody that you can really do this. And our shows, I like to say that they're edutaining, they're educating people and they're entertaining people, and that's important for us. We want to entertain. Of course, it's in our blood, it's in our bodies. I've come from musical theatre, my brothers come from football. We've entertained crowds for years, but we also want to educate and show them, the audience and our community, that you can do whatever you want, so just go for it. And it's beautiful when you get those comments back, because it's like, okay, I'm doing the right thing, I'm on the right path.
That's amazing, honestly. And I'm so glad to hear the community responded so positively and so well. And I mean, me and Ash, the whole company ethos, it's all about community, giving back, helping. So we run an initiative called Every Mortgage Matters, where literally for every mortgage we write, through no cost to anyone else, we will donate a food parcel through our charity partner, Smile. And it's literally one of the best things I think the company does. Yes, we provide great customer service. Yes, we have qualified brokers, like you got the qualification for interior decorating, for interior design, apologies. All the brokers here have the right qualifications and they have the right mindset, but giving back is so important. And I honestly commend you on the way you have really inspired a lot of people in the community. I've watched the shows, and I gotta be honest, I'm always on edge whether people take your advice or not.
Right.
So on that note, I know people must come up to you in the community and say, oh, what should I do here? What should I do?
Yep.
Do people always take your advice, or do they go against it? Or
Do you know what? I think people listen. People definitely listen. Whether or not they take it is completely up to them. We can only do what we can do. And that's us say, we have been here before and we don't want you to either lose money or make a big mistake. So we're going to try and mitigate that by telling you what we would do. But ultimately, it's people's homes, right? So what they may love, we might think, don't do it. And also what we think is best might not work for them. So we can only give what we can give and hope that they take it on. If they don't, then that's on them. But sometimes it is difficult, especially when you're doing these shows and you're like, right, have you really thought about this? Have you really thought about that? And I remember there was a property, I think it was like episode 1 of Worst House Series 1. It was Harry and Yimika in Croydon, and they wanted to take out a fireplace, like the breast of the fireplace, upstairs and downstairs. And it wasn't even that, it was maybe like a foot long. And we were like, for the amount of money it's going to cost you to remove all of that, it doesn't make any sense, because you can put that money somewhere else. It's going to be a lot to remove that whole chimney breast just to have a flat wall. So why don't you incorporate it into maybe having some shelves either side, or maybe creating like a medial wall instead? And they were like, no, they were adamant. And then when they actually did get the quote in from the builder, they came back, they're like, you know what, you're right, it's going to cost way too much. So they decided to then agree with us and go with what we said. But ultimately, if they wanted to take it off and have a flat wall, that's down to them. Again, it's their home. We just want to try and help people save and make as much money as possible.
So the big question, 100K in the bank, how are you investing that? Are you going to Dubai and buying a property there? Are you flipping it in Bournemouth? What are you doing with that 100K?
Oh, that is a good question. I mean, if I'm honest, I would absolutely be taking that money to Dubai. So I'm purchasing a property over there at the moment, off plan. It'll be ready Q4 2027. But property over there is crazy. Like, what you can get for your money is great. yes, I'd have to joint venture with somebody, or I'll be coming to you guys asking me if you can give me a bridging loan or some sort of mortgage to get me maybe something even bigger and better over there. But the property market in Dubai is where it's at. It really is. And I know that's bad because I'm taking money out of the UK, but it just, for me, it just makes sense. I know that Stuart would absolutely, he would stay here, and that's why we're very different. He would stay here. He's going to be finding a place in Bournemouth. He's going to be making that money, make a lot for him here. But I'm investing over in Dubai at the moment. I've invested here and it's great. But I feel like as someone that travels a lot and someone that has always been seen to do property shows abroad, it only makes sense that I have my own place somewhere else out of the country. So yes, I'm doing Dubai.
So we only have Scarlette till 2027 in the UK.
And that's it. Yeah, then I'm gone. I'm out of here.
This is important. Let's make the most of the time.
Yeah,
So
sorry, I was gonna say, you asked that question. I had a show called Flipping Fast with my brother and George Clark, and actually there was 6 different teams, pairs that got given £100,000 each to flip as many properties as possible in a year in the UK, and they did really well. And then the winner would get to keep the £100,000 and the profit. So it's not like it can't be done in the UK. It definitely can. It's just I feel like I've done it here and I want to try somewhere else. So yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know someone or the other who's in Dubai now.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone, like so many people have moved out there, and I've actually got a brother-in-law who's out there in Dubai,
right, okay.
and he's in the property world now. And yeah, I've always been interested in that side of things as well. But how did you kind of make that leap? Was it you had a contact there, or they sold you a good?
They sold me a dream. No, they really did sell me a dream. So it's funny. It was someone that I had in my team here in property here that would get my kitchens from, and he moved over there and he started working for a property company as a realtor. And I've always been interested in it because I've been visiting Dubai since 2021. And I think going there and seeing how amazing the properties are, and not only that, but just seeing how much profit can be made on these when it comes to like handover. I was thinking, this is a no-brainer, and when I get an opportunity, I really want to look into it. So when my friend Stuart moved over there, also another Stuart, when my friend Stuart went over there, he was like, anything that comes in that I think will be good for you, I'm going to let you know about. And he did. And this is like a great opportunity. It's in Dubai Islands. It's going to be a lot of money going in there. It's going to be an amazing area. So I can't wait.
Fascinating. So if we bring it back to today, we've talked about so many cool things that you've done, but what's happening in your world at the moment?
So right now I am still obviously doing television. So we've got Can't Sell, Must Sell, did really well, our latest series. So we're looking at doing another series of that next year, which would be very exciting. I'm also now an independent travel agent because I love traveling and it just made sense. So I've set up my own business doing that. And I want to help others that are maybe thinking about it as well. I'm always that person that has multiple streams of income. So I feel like this just made sense to be the next thing for me. And it's a business model that it doesn't just have to be me that does it. Other people can do it and they really can make a great earning from it. So I thought, well, why not? So yeah, it's exciting. It's something that's very different because even though I've always traveled, I've never really booked my own travel. If it's for television, the production company books it for me. I just turn up with my passport. So now it's an opportunity for me to be able to do a lot more stuff for myself and for others that are interested as well. So yeah, it's really exciting. And of course, there's still going to be loads of property things on the horizon and in the pipeline. Obviously, Dubai I've mentioned, but looking at other places too. So if anybody out there can tell me of a really good hotspot to buy properties that's not in the UK, let me know.
amazing.
And do you want to mention the name of the travel agency?
Oh, well, here's the thing. I don't have a specific name for it yet.
Okay.
So I could tell you something, but I change my mind a lot. So right now I'm going to just call it Scarlette's Travel Agency. But off the back of it, I'm definitely going to do a travel podcast as well, where we talk about some amazing dream destinations, different properties and different destinations, the lifestyle, all the different activities, the excursions that you can do. I'll probably start with lots of Caribbean countries and islands because that's what I know. So definitely look out for that. And it's all going to be incorporated and encompassed under travel and lifestyle.
It's amazing. I'm subscribing already. It sounds
Yes,
very interesting.
good. Please do.
It sounds
Thank
really
you.
good.
Exactly. I'm going to live through you, have my holidays through you. That way save a lot of money as well, isn't it?
Also, we're sitting here on the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can bring your company to all these different places as well. Get over to Dubai,
We don't have the
guys.
budget for that.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming, definitely.
We'll take a bridging loan for
Yeah, there you go, exactly. But I did
thank
want to
you.
say though, before we close off, I love what you're doing with Smile because I think it's so important that we give back. And I think when people get so I guess, head up and just think about the figures and the numbers and being really, really rich, they forget about everybody else that may need the help.
Yeah.
And something that I've always done is no matter how much I do or how successful I get, I always want to help other people, because what's the point of me building a profile or a platform if I can't then help others? So I love that you are doing that, and I think it's amazing, and you really should be applauded for it because it's incredible, and congratulations on that for sure.
Thank you. And thank you in general for joining us today, Scarlett. It's been amazing, really interesting.
Yeah,
Cool.
and you know, this is the first podcast that we're doing here in this office, and I hold this one close to my heart because what an amazing experience. This is
Aw.
honestly a dream. Can't believe you're here. It's
Thank
crazy.
you.
And yeah, I can't wait to go away now and start texting all my friends and
And make sure if you ever go away, like out of the country, you come
Yeah.
to me so I can book all your travel for you.
oh, 100%, 100%.
I'll sort you out some wicked packages, I promise.
We'll hold you
Wicked.
to it.
Yeah.
I know my wife's gonna be watching this, and
Yes.
she's definitely gonna be like, "Can you please hit Scarlett up because we need to go somewhere in December and
Cool, got you
we haven't
covered.
booked it yet." So
Yeah, I'm on it.
wicked. All
Thank you
right,
so
that's a
much.
wrap.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
I really hope you enjoyed that episode, and if you did, make sure you comment, like, share, subscribe, all of those good things. And if you didn't like it, share it anyway.